Dear students, welcome to our YouTube channel Vidya for Success. In this video, we will be studying continuation part of theory on the lesson Biological Classification. Yes, let us move to the next concept in the kingdom Mycota, that is classification of fungi. So fungi are classified based on some characteristic feature. So one of the main characters considered for classification is the kind of mycelium. So the what type of mycelium is present in the fungi. This is one criteria considered for classification. And then another one is a mode of reproduction. What type of sexual reproduction is going to takes place in the fungi, and what kind of spore formation is taking place in the fungi. So based on these certain characteristic features, the fungi classified into 4 different groups. So you have to remember these things. So based on the reproductive structure and the kind of spore formation and the kind of mycelium, they are divided into 4 different groups. So the first one is Phycomycetes. Next one Ascomycetes, Basidiomycetes, then Deuteromycetes. So these are the 4 groups of fungi. They are classified based on certain characteristic features. So now let us study each of the groups in detail. Yes, let us study the first group of fungi, that is Phycomycetes. So the best example of fungi belong to this group is Rhizopus. So you can notice in the diagram, so all these are the diagrams of Rhizopus. So commonly Rhizopus is called as a bread mold because it usually grow on the surface of bread when it gets moisture content and in the room temperature. So in that suitable environmental condition, it grow very well on the surface of bread. So because of that, Rhizopus is called as bread mold. So if you notice in the first diagram, you can clearly identify 2 types of hyphae. So one of the hyphae grown along the surface of bread, so that is nothing but a vegetative phase. So in the vegetative phase, a fungal hyphae always grow along the surface of substratum. Clear? And when it is able to reproduce, it will form a perpendicular hyphae. So that perpendicular hyphae is nothing but a fruiting body. So you can clearly identify the 2 types of hyphae here. One is a vegetative hyphae and another one is a fruiting body, that is a reproductive hyphae. So you will study little more in the next slide, but you have to understand here the 2 types of hypha. Understood? Yes, let us move to the characteristic feature of Phycomycetes. So where do we find the members of Phycomycetes? Because I gave you one example of Rhizopus, one example of Phycomycetes, that is Rhizopus. Like this we have many other members belongs to this group. So different habitat we can see in the members of Phycomycetes. So some of the members are habitat to water. That means they present in water, so they are aquatic in their habitat. And some they grow very well on the surface of decaying wood in moist and damp places. So we have already studied the required this thing environment for the growth of fungi is moist and damp places. So in that particular environment, it grow very well. And some of the Phycomycetes are obligate parasites on plant. So parasitic fungi, they usually depends on other living organisms. So some of the Phycomycetes are parasitic to plants, so that they depends on plant for their survival. So these are the habitats of Phycomycetes. Then the structure of Phycomycetes. So when we are going to study about the structure, we have to understand the kind of mycelium. So we have studied, right? That means what is the meaning of mycelium? So mycelium is interconnected hyphae. So mycelium in case of Phycomycetes is aseptate. So this is the new word, right? Aseptate. So we always use a behind the word that indicates that absence of that particular structure. So aseptate is nothing but absence of septa. What do you mean by septa? So septa is actually a cross wall present in the hypha. So we have seen when the cross wall is present in the hypha, that will divide the hypha into number of cells. Clear, right? So here in the Phycomycetes, the mycelium is aseptate. That means cross wall is completely absent. So the cytoplasmic component what is present in the hypha, that is evenly distributed in the thread-like structure. So you can't differentiate into number of cells here because there is no cross walls. So the nature of mycelium is aseptate. And cenocytic. So ceno is nothing but common, cytic is nothing but box. So whatever the thing present in the aseptate mycelium, that is evenly distributed. So if the more number of nuclei are present, they are just floating in the cytoplasm. You can't bifurcate that the cell is made out of only one nuclei and two nuclei, three nuclei, not like that, because the nuclei is freely distributed in the hyphae. Clear? So that we are using the terminology cenocytic. That means everything is present within a common structure that is called as hyphae. So you can't divide it into number of parts. Understood? So the structure of mycelium is aseptate and cenocytic. So this is a very important regarding the Phycomycetes. Then the meaning of aseptate is no septa or cross wall in the mycelium. Then if you move to the mode of reproduction, they reproduces by two different methods. So one is asexual mode. So asexual mode of reproduction takes place by the formation of spores. So small spores, microscopic spores will form from the fungi. So those spores easily carried away by wind current. So when again the spores get suitable temperature and moisture content, they will again form a new hyphae. Understood? So the number of spores they are formed during asexual reproduction is motile spores. So motile spores are nothing but the spores consist of some of the structure for movement. So usually flagella will be present. That means a small flagella is present for a movement. Clear? So motile spores will form in some of the species as a asexual reproductive structure. And some they reproduce by non-motile aplanospores. So aplanospores does not consist of any locomotory structure for their movement. So usually the fungi they their spore carried through the wind, they produce as aplanospores. That means they no need of any locomotory structure for their movement. So motile spores are not like that. They consist of locomotory structure for their movement. So some of the aquatic Phycomycetes they produces motile spores during asexual reproduction, and some they produces spores inside a sporangium. That means endogenous spores formation is very common in Phycomycetes. So you can give the best example of Rhizopus here. So rhizopus form the spores within a protective structure that is called as sporangium. You can notice in the diagram. So at the tip of the long tube-like structure, you can notice a bulb-like structure. So that bulb-like structure is nothing but sporangium. So if you open the sporangium, small spores will be present. Those are nothing but sporangiospores. Clear, right? So because the spores are produced within a protective structure, they are called as endogenous spore. Endo means within. Clear? So there are three types of asexual spores we can notice in different members of Phycomycetes. Some they will produce as motile spores, and some they will produce as aplanospores, and some they will produce as endogenous spores. Understood? Yes, this is about a few general characteristic features of Phycomycetes. So let us see about the sexual mode of reproduction in Phycomycetes. let us move to the sexual mode of reproduction. So when we talk about the sexual reproduction, two parents are involved in the reproduction. That may be two different mycelium or two gametes from the organism. So like this, when two parents are involved in the for reproduction, that kind of reproduction is called as asexual reproduction. So sometime the fusion takes place between similar gametes. So gametes are structures, they are formed from the fungi during the reproduction. So the fungi, they are involved in fusion, they are similar in their appearance as well as similar in their size. So when the similar gametes are involved in the fusion, that process is named as isogamous. Iso means similar, gamous is nothing but fusion. So when the similar gametes are fused during the sexual reproduction, that is comes under isogamous type. And sometimes what happens, the gametes formed from the parents, they are of different size. So one of the gamete may be bigger in size and another gamete may be smaller in size, and one gamete may be motile and another gamete may be non-motile. So if the dissimilar gametes are involved in fusion, that is what we are calling as anisogamous. So there are two types of fusion we can see in the sexual reproduction. So sometime isogamous in some members, and some of the members shows anisogamous type of reproduction. So we have already seen the sexual cycle takes place in the fungi. So the first step of the sexual cycle is plasmogamy, that means the fusion of protoplasm. So the second step is fusion of nuclei, that means the karyogamy, and the final this thing is meiosis of zygote, that results in the formation of spores, haploid spores. Clear? So as a result of isogamous and anisogamous, the spores will form at the end. So those spores will form as a result of meiosis. Clear, right? So you have to understand this. So meiosis is a reductional division that is going to form haploid spores. So the resultant spores formed at the end of sexual reproduction is zygospores. Clear, right? So the name of the spores, they are formed during the sexual reproduction is zygospores. Clear, right? So the another name of phycomycetes is zygomycetes, because the sexual spores formed in the fungi is zygospores. So let us see the example of organisms comes under this group. So the one of the example is mucor. So mucor is the fungi, belongs to phycomycetes category. Then rhizopus, as I told, it is called as bread mold. Then one more example is albugo. So this is a parasitic to mustard plant. That means it is an example of obligate parasite. It causes disease in mustard plant. So these are the few example of fungi. They are comes under the category phycomycetes. Yes, now let us study the second group of fungi, that is ascomycetes. So ascomycetes are commonly called as sac fungi. So sac is nothing but a bag-like structure or a pouch-like structure. So these organisms, they form sac-like structure during their sexual reproduction. So because of this unique structure formation, they are named as sac fungi. So sac fungi is the common name used for ascomycetes. Clear? So let us move to the structure of ascomycetes. What is the structure? So when we talk about the structure, we usually concentrate on the mycelium. So mycelium in the ascomycetes is highly branched. That means a number of hyphae can be seen, they are interconnected. So the mycelium is highly branched here and septate. So this is what the nature we can see in the mycelium of ascomycetes. So septate is nothing but cross wall present within the hypha. So when the cross wall or septa present in the hypha, that will divide the hyphae into number of cells. Clear, right? So just you can compare the septate hypha with the train compartment. So in the train, how we can see number of compartment, like that the septate hyphae appears in the mycelium, because the cross wall is present. So cross wall divides the cytoplasm and nuclei into particular region. So that is what the function of septate. So septa will divide the hypha into number of compartments, so that will make the appearance of hyphae into multicellular structure. So this is what the nature of mycelium in Ascomycetes. Then what is the mode of nutrition in Ascomycetes? So we can see number of fungi belongs to Ascomycetes category. So some are saprophytic. So what do you mean by saprophytic? So saprophytes, they always feed on dead and decaying organic matter. They absorb nutrition from dead and decaying things. And some of the members are decomposers. So what do you mean by decomposers? So decomposers act on dead and decaying things. That means they will degrade the dead and decaying organic matter. That means they will simplify the dead and decaying matter. Clear? So we have differences between saprophytes and decomposers. So decomposers actually acts on dead material, but saprophytic organisms, they feed on dead and decaying organic matter. Clear? And some of the Ascomycetes are parasitic. That means they causes disease in plants as well as in animals. And some are coprophilous. What do you mean by coprophilous? Again, the new terminology here. Coprophilous, nothing but the fungi, they grow on cow dung. So which fungi they grow on cow dung, they are called as coprophilous. So there are different mode of nutrition we can see in the members of Ascomycetes. Some are saprophytes, some are decomposers, some are parasitic, some are coprophilous. Then how do they reproduce? So during reproduction, that means asexual reproduction, the fungi form spores. See, the commonly formed asexual spores in the Ascomycetes is conidia. So this is very important. So conidia, they are non-motile. That means they are not having any locomotor structure for movement. So they are the spherical shaped or circular shaped structures. They form exogenously. Exo means what? Exo means outside. Clear? Because we have seen in the rhizopus, the spore formation takes place within a protective structure. That means a sporangium. Within the sporangia, spores will form. But conidia are exogenous spores. That means they form outside. They are not going to form within a protective structure. You can observe in the diagram. So this is the aspergillus. So in the aspergillus, you can notice at the tip of the thread-like structure, spherical structures are present. That means small ball-like structures are there. Those are nothing but conidia, that is labeled here. So conidia are exogenously formed asexual spores. They help in reproduction. Then they are actually formed on a special mycelium called conidiophores. That is also labeled here. So conidiophores are the fruiting body. Actually, they grow perpendicular with that of the substratum. As I told, hyphae is of two types, vegetative hyphae and reproductive hyphae. So vegetative hyphae always grow along the substratum, and the reproductive hyphae grow perpendicular with that of the substratum. Clear? So conidiophore is actually a reproductive or fruiting body. So this conidiophore is meant for the formation of conidia. Clear, right? So you have to remember two terminology here, conidia and conidiophores. Is the sexual spores formed in this member is ascospores. So the name of the sexual spore is ascospores. So we have already studied about the sexual cycle. So the first is plasmogamy, fusion of protoplasm. Second is karyogamy, fusion of nuclei. And the last one is meiosis of zygote that results in the formation of haploid spores. So, the haploid spores of sexual reproduction here is ascospores. So, after the plasmogamy and karyogamy, actually the ascospores are going to form at the end of sexual reproduction. So, the kind of sexual spores formed in ascomycetes is ascospores. Clear? Which are produced endogenously in a sac-like structure called asci. So, as I told, they form a pouch-like structure. So, you can notice those pouch-like structure, bag-like structure here. So, those small pouch-like structures are called as asci. So, within the asci, you can notice small spores are present. Those are actually formed within the bag, that means within the sac-like structure. So, because of that, ascospores are called as endogenous spores. They are produced within a protective sac-like structure called as asci. So, these asci, they are arranged within a fruiting body. So, you can notice the outermost structure in the diagram, that outermost cup-like structure what we are observing here, that is what we are calling as a fruiting body. So, that fruiting body is named as ascocarp. Clear? So, first you can notice a big cup-like structure that is called as ascocarp. So, within the ascocarp we have small pouch-like structures called as asci. So, within the asci the haploid spores will form by meiosis. Those are named as ascospores. Then the best example of fungi comes under the sac fungi category is Aspergillus. So, the first diagram what we have seen in our last slide, that is Aspergillus, and we have the example of Claviceps, then Neurospora. So, Neurospora is the best example of organism belong to Ascomycetes because it is used in biochemical and genetic experiments. So, in order to observe the kind of mutation changes happening in the gene, they use Neurospora organism, Neurospora fungi in the labs. Clear? Because it is very easy to study the changes in gene by use of this organism, so that it is used in the number of experiments in the genetic field. Clear? So, these are the few examples, and we can also take the one more example, penicillium. So, penicillium is used in antibiotic production, right? So, that organism is also belong to the category Ascomycetes. Clear? So, this is about the characteristic feature of Ascomycetes with example.